Facebook, how are you? The audio is going to be a little bad today because we don't have the mics. I left them in my truck.
Sounds like we're on speakerphone then.
Yep, that's exactly right. Let me get this up here. Make sure we're running. There we are. You can see us. We're on TV, Wes.
Oh, wow. How about that?
Oh, quiet mode turned on. I don't know what the hell that means. Where's the shit? Now they've changed the...
new update?
Yes. What the dickens? How do I make this share? There we go. Okay. Okay. There we go. And now we're up, ready to rock and roll. Okay, here we go. 3, 2. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. This is Kinetic Chaos Forefathers Podcast. I am your host, Will. I remembered my name today. Joined, as always, by my good friend, Wes.
Right here I am.
He is to my left. We are in the secret underground bunker today. We are not broadcasting on the interwebs. We like to sit next to each other every once in a while. We haven't been on the air in a little bit.
Yeah, I was thinking about that coming over here. It's been a long time, it seems.
Yeah, it's been since last Monday. I was at the beach last week for Kim's birthday and spring break and whatnot, and then you were at the Pink concert on Monday.
That was awesome.
That was a good time. Yeah. So let's start off with something good that happened to us. I've got a feeling I know what you're going to say.
That is going to be it. That was an incredible concert. My wife and I have wanted to see her for quite some time now.
Is this your first time
seeing her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The last few times she's made the rounds through Portland, we just, for whatever reason, didn't buy tickets in time because the tickets go like that with her. So, but yeah, I made a point because I think she announced last fall that she was going to be swinging through Portland again, and I was like on day one, the tickets went on sale. I was online grabbing them.
Yeah,
we didn't want to miss it again. So,
what kind of seats did you have?
Pretty good considering they were in the 300 level.
Okay.
But right even with the stage, so looking right across the stage in the third row of the 300 level. So. Nice. Great, still good acoustics up there.
Well, I mean, that's what's awesome about the Rose Garden is that it's acoustically speaking, and for events in general, it's just an awesome space because it's not too dang big.
Yeah.
Considering what you have indoors now can be, Jerry World holds 80,000 people or something. Indoors, which is bananas to think about. But what was who's the opening act?
She had two. Well. Technically one opening act plus a DJ kind of
you were talking about that.
Yeah, so first out came DJ Kid Cutup, I think was his name. Evidently he's some famous dude. He's worked with Kanye and a bunch of other big names, and he's toured internationally with Pink, I think on a couple different tours with her.
Does he play with her during her set as well?
No, he just kind of a warm-up.
Opening.
So he came out there and did his deal for maybe 15-20 minutes, and then her regular opener came on, which was Julianne Michaels, I think, kind of like a pop singer. I guess she's like mid-20s, and she's written a bunch of songs for other pop artists, and now she just put out her first album of her own. So she has been basically a songwriter only before, and now she's doing her own stuff. So she played maybe half an hour. And then while they were tearing down her stuff, the DJ came back out and was scratching again for like another 15 minutes to kill time while they, reconfigured the stage, and then Pink came on after that. So
she got on the stage, what, 8 or 9?
She got, was it 9, 10? I think I was watching my phone because I was timing how long her set was. Her set was about 1 hour and 50.
Okay. You timed it that.
Well, no, but I was curious. I wanted to look at the clock when she came on versus when she went off to see how long she played for. So I do remember looking when they killed the lights for her to come on stage. I looked at my phone and it was 9:10.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. And so she played all of her big hits and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so in terms of, she played several of her big hits, but then also she's like anybody that's touring, they're promoting their newest album, so she played a lot of cuts off her new album, which I'm not all that familiar with. Tia knew a lot more of the new stuff than I did. But yeah, my wife really enjoyed it, so.
Concerts are awesome. I don't know about you or anyone else, but I find that I've gone to concerts for people that I have had no desire to see them whatsoever, and I come away, if they're actual musicians, not just, whether it's synthesizers or a made sound in a studio.
Yeah.
I remember going to the Roots and I think I've told you this, the Roots and Rage Against the Machine. So we were supposed to see, I wanted to see, because originally it was supposed to be Rage Against the Machine and Public Enemy. So I was like, well, I had no interest in Rage Against the Machine at the time. I was like, I want to go see Public Enemy because they're pioneers in the hip hop rap game and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. Not Public Enemy, Wu-Tang Clan. Sorry. Yeah, not Public Enemy, Wu-Tang. And so, again, pioneers in the rap game and always been, actually I've never listened to a lot of Wu-Tang's music, but they've got a core group of songs that are, you can't escape if you're a fan of hip hop. And so I was going to see Wu-Tang, and my buddy was going to go see, wanted to see Rage. We're like, okay, cool. I wasn't into the metal thing that much. I like Metallica went on. So we're getting ready. Well, the day before, Wu-Tang beats up their manager.
That's right.
Classic Wu-Tang fashion, right? I mean, they're down in LA, I believe, and they decided to go Wu-Tang on their manager, beat him to a pulp. I don't know if ODB was involved in that or not, but so they got kicked off the tour day before. So the Roots fill in for them. I had heard of the Roots and knew one of their songs. Holy moly! I came away from that show fans of two bands that I didn't think were they weren't really on my radar much. Rage Against the Machine was absolutely amazing. Tom Morello on the guitar.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that guy can absolutely slay.
And what I was really impressed with Pink, and I kind of knew it going in because we have a concert DVD of hers, so I've seen her on TV play live before, and her live sound I think is better than her studio album stuff. And so I kind of was figuring I'd feel the same way actually physically seeing her live for the first time, and I came away with that same impression. She seems to do a lot more rock in terms of the instrumentation. There's a lot more chugging guitars.
Chugging,
yeah.
Wow, I have never heard of guitars referred to as chugging.
A fuller sound, a heavier sound to her, as opposed to her studio stuff is a little more light and poppy in terms of the background instrumentation. But then come live, when she goes live, it's like a full-on rock show. So it's a lot heavier sound when she's live, which I would prefer anyway. So to me, she sounds better live.
Well, and the cool thing about her, and we don't have to belabor Pink, but is that she is on, a full spectrum of the musical sound, of musical sound. I mean, you've got your ballads and things like that, and then she's, and other stuff, she's just tearing into it and whatnot. So
absolutely.
That's cool. Well, my good thing that happened to me, I've had all kinds of stuff. Going to the beach is always a highlight for me. Going down there, we actually, on the website, KinetiChaos.com, I did a couple of posts on there. One of them on the clam chowders of Long Beach, which I didn't try all of them. We didn't get into Long Beach Tavern because it's a tavern and Derek's not of age. So we didn't get into that one, but we did go to Captain Bob's and to Castaways. Check out my review of both those, and really want to try to help spread the word for them and whatnot. But both of them were phenomenal chowders, but I am going to lean towards Castaways. It was more flavorful, and I don't know. It wasn't as creamy. I love the creamy, but Captain Bob's was very, very creamy and didn't have as much flavor to it.
Oh, okay.
Whereas Castaways did. Now, the cool thing about Captain Bob's, though, is that they do a kind of rotational thing on their chowders. So they've got their base stuff, and they got sandwiches and whatnot. But then every day that they're there, the Captain Bob does a different type of chowder.
Some sort of seafood.
Exactly.
Chowder,
yeah, so we did that, and then we rode those e-bikes, the electric assist bikes. Holy man, those things are a kick in the pants. Have you ever ridden them?
No, I've not.
I've got to highly recommend that, and I did a post on that as well, so go check that out. But those e-bikes, so if you put them on the fifth gear, 20 miles an hour.
Wow.
Now, that's not uphill.
Right.
So we rode up, you can only rent them for a maximum 2 hours because the batteries run out.
Yeah.
You assist the batteries by pedaling. And so, which is an interesting thing to get used to, because as soon as you start pedaling, the assist kicks in, and you like shoot off. And if you have it on level 5, it goes from like level 1 through 5. Level 5, like I said, it tops out at 20 miles an hour. So you're getting up there and going pretty quickly. And so we ride that trail in Long Beach that parallels the beach. Mm-hmm. And so we take it up to the North Head Lighthouse, and in an hour, $20. That's it. I mean, yeah, it's not super cheap, but for that, I mean, considering that go-karts are, I think they're $10 for like a 5-minute thing.
Exactly.
These you get for an hour, and you can go all over Hell's Half Acre because they've got the big tires. You can take it down to the beach. We rode up to the lighthouse, and you have to pedal as you go uphill, but we were sitting down and pedaling, so it's not like you're having to
lean into it. Yeah.
No, not at all. But we on that path, you get up on it, and for the most part, you can. It's not. There are sections where it's fairly straight, so I would stand up on the pedals, keep it full tilt boogie, 20 miles an hour, and it almost feels like it has some sort of like braking mechanism once you get over 20 miles an hour.
It's got a little governor to throw it back.
That's what it's. Yeah. Like if you're going downhill and pedaling with it, I got it up I think to 23. And then it did not want to go much faster than that. Here's a funny thing though. So we're riding it, and Kim's like, yeah, I got it up to 38. I'm like, how the hell did you get that thing up to 38 miles an hour? I'm cranking, going downhill, and I'm nowhere near 38 miles an hour. She's like, yeah, try it. You can see how fast it goes. So I hop on it, and I'm pedaling, and I look down, it's kilometers per hour. I'm like, honey, you are not going 38 miles an hour, you're going about 20, just like us, but you're in kilometers. Oh, dang it. Like, that's what the K is for. Anyway, but yeah, that was an awesome trip. And if, I know we have listeners all over the place, and if you get a chance to come down to the Washington coast, Oregon coast for that matter, go check out the e-bikes we were at Affordable Mopeds, I think, I'll go check the website. I've got all the information for the company because there's a couple of different companies. The other one I believe is $30 an hour though. Mm-hmm. These guys are 20, same bikes, all that's the same. And these electric scooters and bikes, and I've kind of been talking to an electric scooter company that's going to do some stuff with us. And I mean, this revolution of electric vehicles in terms of like fun recreational stuff, these guys have they've got a scooter that has like not a mud tire, like a dirt tire, and you can jump this thing. It's got independent suspension, dual motors. It goes like 35 miles an hour or something on a scooter, like a Razor scooter with 8-inch tires that can go in the mud and stuff. But they're called Rev Rides. Go to revrides.com, check them out. We're going to be doing some stuff. I've been talking to their folks for the last couple of weeks, and they're pretty cool. I'll put a link in the description of the show because they were up in Seattle shooting some promotional stuff, and I got to see their video before it was released. Okay. And it's pretty neat to be able to go do these tricks and all that kind of stuff. And they've got like 3 or 4 models that are from kind of less expensive all the way up to it's like $1,800, but they fold up like into your hand. You just jump on the bus with them. So anyway, that was kind of cool. But yeah, gotta get beach time it's that time of year. Yep. You're getting down there. You get down there and it's sideways rain. But then I got to crack open the oysters and we're grilling away. One of my favorite things on earth is to be wherever we are at the beach, be grilling the oysters, have a good cocktail and a cigar, and just cracking oysters and eating them right out of the shell. Are you an oyster guy?
Cooked, not raw.
Oh, you don't like raw?
Nah.
Huh? Really? Why?
I don't know, just the whole texture thing, the sliminess.
See, I actually prefer the raw over cooked.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm not necessarily a fan of the cooked, but if you made me choose one versus the other, I'd go cooked.
Do you like them off the grill? Have you had those?
It's been a while, but yeah, I have.
I like, because they do like either garlic butter or cocktail sauce, and you just put them on there and they pop. They cook themselves in there. You pop them and suck them out. So that's That's always a good time. Well, we've got a lot of stuff going on in the sports world. For Magic Johnson, alleviating himself of the Lakers problem, which I've got to say, I can't fault the guy. I do love the conspiracy theory that he was actually fired, but to save face, he walked down and did this impromptu news conference.
Do you buy the line that LeBron was shocked and stunned by it? Or do you think there was some sort of conspiracy that LeBron and him didn't get along, and there was?
I think that Magic was the reason he got there. But
yeah,
if you kind of look at the way the whole thing played out, LeBron was always going to go there because he wants to be in movies. Okay, his whole goal is to be, to release Space Jam 2 through 18, which absolutely no one's going to watch, but that's his whole goal. So getting him to LA was not going to be that big of a deal, in my opinion. That was his future, is to be in film and movies. I mean, he's the executive producer on this Tim Tebow Miracle Mile show or something like that. And I love that you got Tebow, brought to you by LeBron James, and it's like all it is just one big name drop for these guys to hear themselves on TV. But I guess you and I aren't any better as we sit here on TV and talk about it.
That's right.
But so I don't know. I think that the thing that really shocked me about it was that he hadn't told Jeannie Buss yet.
Yeah,
I was very, and that's why I think it kind of lends a little bit of credence to the conspiracy theory that she shit-canned him, and then he decided that, I'm going to try to handle this in a cool fashion.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that cool, though.
No.
We got the Masters. You into golf at all?
I am. I just don't.
Really?
I always forget to watch it though. I mean, I don't have.
It only happens once a year.
I know, but I was like, it's just I'm not that heavily into golf that the time frame is ingrained in my mind. But I mean, if I was around the TV, I'd watch it. It's kind of cool.
So, are you a Thursday, Friday guy, or I see if I'm going to watch,
I'm
probably
the final cut.
Yeah. I not even the final cut.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to wait until Sunday, and then just like everything else with golf, you want to see who's actually in the lead. And if Tiger ended up having a relatively good showing today, so we'll see how that all plays out. But who do you think's going to take it?
I don't know. That's what my problem is. I don't, and that's the other thing we were talking about that before the show, is the odds. I mean, the predictability of who's going to win. It's like any random dude could win this. Because half the time it's like somebody you never heard of before.
Absolutely.
So that's what, and that's kind of cool too. I mean, everybody has a chance basically. So
they absolutely do, and then you get the guys that do like all the play-ins. Oh, actually, I don't think they do as many for Augusta. It's the U.S. Open that you can qualify for. But,
right.
And hence the reason it's called the U.S. Open. But no, that's someday that's a bucket list thing for me, is to go to Augusta. DP was talking about it today, and I guess it's actually quite inexpensive to eat there. Like sandwiches and stuff are under $5.
Yeah.
Beers they're not gouging you, which I think that's kind of cool. The whole racial background of Augusta isn't the greatest.
The biggest racket though is the real estate, the rental house stuff there.
Yeah.
Holy moly! I was reading something online. Actually, this was regarding last year's Masters. I was reading a while back. Somebody was renting their just modest 3-bedroom house or whatever for like $10,000 a week.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
It's just
considering that it is the Masters, and it's probably the preeminent golf tournament on earth.
Right.
This is what it's all about. Yeah, you've got the other 3 majors, but this is the one that guys like me who are really, we know who the golfers are and kind of hear about it through osmosis, but I don't watch golf, and when that's kind of like NASCAR.
Yeah.
If it's on and it's exciting, then I'll watch it. But it's nothing that really, really excites me that much.
Yeah.
What does excite me though, as we segue into more sports, is that our Portland Trailblazers have secured the 3rd spot in the West by winning last night's game, which you were talking about before the show, coming back from 28 down, my dad said.
Yeah.
So that was pretty impressive.
However, they're playing the Thunder, who had a season sweep of them.
Yes.
And so I'm saying Because we're talking best of 5 in the opening round, right? Or is it 7?
I think it's 5.
Is it? Yeah. Anyway, so I'm.
I have to check on that one.
Yeah, I can't remember. Or does it? No, it's best of 7 all the way through. That's why it takes so long, I think.
Well, it takes so long. I mean, we're going to crown a champion in the NBA in mid-August. And then they report back on October 1st.
Yeah, exactly.
It's obnoxious how long the playoffs are.
It's a year-round thing.
Well, what's today? Today's April 10th or 11th. And they won't win, or the finals won't be till I think the first week of June, or they'll end up somewhere around there.
That's crazy.
It really is. I understand that you don't want the guys to have too much wear and tear, but that seems obnoxiously long, 2 months for playoffs.
And a side note is my guy Russell Westbrook from UCLA.
Your guy?
Yeah, UCLA.
I'm very surprised that you call him your guy.
Yeah, he's the only guy I know in the NBA. No. Is his triple-double feat being he was up until he came along, until he came into his own a few years back, Wilt Chamberlain was the only guy to average a triple-double for the entire season, and then Westbrook matched him 3 years ago, and he's done it in the subsequent 2 years. So he's done it for 3 years in a row now, averaging a triple-double for the entire season, and that is just insanity.
And having Paul George there and still being able to do that. Now George was down for a while. The other thing that is crazy about that is that you've got Harden doing the same thing, but neither one of them are more than likely to win the MVP. They're talking about Giannis. Don't ask me to spell his last name.
The Greek guy.
Yeah, the Greek freak. That he'll actually win the MVP more so because Westbrook and Harden have already won. Yeah. And so they want to give it to somebody new.
And the other awesome feat from Westbrook was that 20-20-20 game. He had 20 points, 20 rebounds, 20 assists. That's insane. Yeah. And what I can't figure out is he obviously just has to, I was talking to my dad about this, he obviously just has to have a nose for the ball because he's only like 6'2", 6'3", and he's yanking down double-digit boards every game.
Well, he's such an athletic
freak. He's boxing out the big guys are able to follow a shot in there and get a rebound. So for a guy that short by NBA standards, for him to be, getting tons of rebounds is crazy.
Well, I think he's taller than that, though.
Is he? I thought he was like 6'2" or 6'3".
I think he's taller than that. We went to the game against OKC here a couple months ago, the tickets that you and Tia gave us, and so that was such an insane game to be at. We can hang with them, certainly. Nurk being out is a huge problem. Although Cantor has stepped up he has been unbelievable. I didn't get to watch I didn't watch the last 2 games because of last night we had our first baseball game of the year, and by the time we got home it was like 9:45, 9:50, something like that. Wow. Well, we played out in Ridgefield, and then we had to, the game was a half an hour late starting. Luckily, they had a 2-hour hard stop on the games. Big fan of that because we were only in the 4th inning. Yeah, we ended up losing by 1, I believe, something like that. But the kids played awesome. And no crazy parents, little league parents. Good. That was awesome. But yeah, so got home late. What's up?
I was just saying, I just looked it up. Westbrook 6'3".
6'3". Yeah. He looks taller. Yeah. Because I think Damian's like 6'2" or 6'3".
Right. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Wow. He just seems so much bigger than that. But he's so gifted athletically that I can see why he can get up there and put up those kinds of stats.
And what's funny, he's your prototypical late bloomer because he was okay at UCLA. He was pretty good, but he wasn't like the superstar at UCLA, like the national, like Zion Williams. He wasn't that kind of a name when he was at UCLA, but then he just kind of grew into his body, I guess, after he went pro. I mean, he just kind of kept getting better and better and better as he went along.
Someday he might actually grow into his style. I went through his Instagram feed the other day, and I don't follow him. I don't follow anyone like that, and I was like, who picks this crap out for you? I'm like, really?
Yeah.
This is what you, and he must be tied in with somebody that's a stylist or some kind of company or something, because it's all like, check this out, check that out.
And switching subjects back to baseball, I was watching the Red Sox and Blue Jays this last weekend because that was the only thing on, like at 10 in the morning because they're in Boston, so it was a 1 p.m. game there. And one of my favorite plays to watch in baseball, and it hardly ever happens, which is kind of why it's so cool to see, is a straight steal of home.
Really?
And the Jays stole home on the Red Sox, which is beautiful.
Yes, I'm all for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it was a guy, obviously, at third base. He just got a nice little walking lead. The pitcher wasn't paying attention, and as soon as the pitcher started his windup, boom, he just took off for home.
Really?
And the pitcher, obviously, by the time the pitcher is in his windup, he sees the guy going, and so he gets a little flustered. So then he throws fairly wide of the plate, so the catcher had to go way out and snag it, and by the time he dove back to tag, it was too late.
Really?
But yeah, just a straight steal at home is just, it's so awesome to see that.
Well, you never see it.
Yeah.
Didn't George Brett do it?
Yeah, it's been done numerous times, but I mean, it's like one of those things that I don't even think it happens once a year. It's less than once a year.
Yeah,
it's pretty rare.
Yeah, speaking of the Red Sox, so that's the team that we played last night.
Oh.
So I coached first base, and our coach, he played a very good trick on us. He just walks up to the crowd, and we're standing there kind of before the game BS, and he goes, "Hey, who knows baseball?" And I'm standing at the front of the stands and right in front of the field. I'm like, "I do," and just ahead of other people, he's like, "Good, you're playing your first base coach." I'm like, "Yay!" I enjoyed it. It's fun to get out there. And so I went out and played first base coach. So at the end of the game, we've got to chant the other team's name and go Red Sox. And I was like,
hard for you to do that.
1, 2, 3, go!
Yeah.
I couldn't really
fake your way through that one.
Oh, absolutely, faked my way through that one. Yeah, that one was very, very tough. What did you think of Virginia taking it down?
You know what? I spaced out and didn't even watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the very first and last game that I watched in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
I turned it on in the second half, or just before the end of the first half. So, yeah, I turned it on, and I had been reading about it, and I knew the whole disaster that was the Auburn and Virginia game, and all of the stuff that went down with that. Mm-hmm. And Texas Tech, I mean, they had a pretty good ball club. I mean, they really did. I think that their shot selection was really crappy at the end. But Virginia, to go from losing, the first time a 1 seed loses to a 16 seed in 2018 to 2019 winning the whole thing, that's one hell of a turnaround.
Yeah.
They were pretty impressive on that. And Tony Bennett seems like a pretty good coach, so that was a good thing. But I don't know why I didn't. Even with Zion and all that, I usually do watch some of the tournament, but this year I just didn't.
I think I watched parts of a few games during like the Sweet 16 area.
Well, Gonzaga was
yeah, and then that was about it. I didn't see any of the Final Four.
I know Hojo may kind of flame us for this, but what's up with Gonzaga? Are they ever going to pull their heads out and get to the Final Four?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, Hojo. I've just got to be honest. I mean,
over-promise with the 1 seed and under-deliver with the early.
Well, they need to go back to like the late '90s in the 2000s when they would be the 13 seed that would pick off the 4 seed.
Who was that one guy with them?
Morrison?
Yes.
The Morrison?
Yeah.
The Stash?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he flamed out.
Oh yeah.
Good night. What happened to that guy? He was so money, and then he got in the NBA, and who knows if I don't know if he's still around or not.
I don't think so. Yeah.
He needed to take care of that facial hair a lot sooner than he did because it was certainly not getting him anywhere. Let's talk barbecue.
Yes.
We're here for brisket.
Oh,
today our featured meat is going to be brisket. And preparation-wise, all that good stuff, we'll give some rundown on that. Now, you're a fan of brisket, I know that.
Oh, yeah.
That is an understatement.
Sliced, not chopped.
Sliced, not chopped. Okay, let's get into that. If for those that aren't familiar with brisket is taken from the front of a cow down towards the bottom of the chest plate. It's a very tough piece of meat because it's between the working. It's a working muscle.
It's all the work, yep. So,
and just like every other piece of meat that is used for barbecue, and the reason the barbecue came about was because slaves were given the worst cuts of meat, and they had to figure out how to make them
tenderize
or so that they were edible. And so whether it's pork butt, which is a pork shoulder, or brisket, things of that nature, those the two big pieces of meat that are the toughest. they decided if you cook it long enough and slow enough, and because of the fat content in both cuts of meat, they would do tremendously well over a long cook period.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the reason why you have barbecue in the first place.
Yeah.
So when we talk about chopped or sliced, we're talking about actually taking the full brisket. Now, when you look at a brisket, you've got two parts of a brisket. You got the point and you've got the flat. The flat is, as it would sound, there's a vein, if you will, of fat. It's much bigger than a vein. It's a huge chunk of fat in between the point and the flat on a full brisket. And that's basically where they will cut it down the middle of that if you're going to split it. Mm-hmm. A lot of times when you pick up a corned beef or St. Patty's Day and out in the store, you're going to pick up a flat. It is a flat, and it looks like kind of like the back of it is squared off, whereas the point, hence the reason it got that name, it looks like the triangle. The point is going to be much fattier, and it's not going to be, it will pot roast on you, and that's what we call, when you have a brisket or any other piece of beef that will shred on you, that is if you overcook it, and that's why brisket can be so difficult to cook, is because you have the propensity to overcook it by keeping the heat too high. I am a fan of keeping the heat between 225 and 250 for brisket, where some people will go. Now, there is a differing opinion on that, and I've heard people that will cook it in a much shorter period of time by going really high heat for like an hour and a half and then slowing it down. Yeah. They're trying to fake it. I'm not a big fan of that, but no, it is what it is, and people want to save fuel or whatever. But
so you can't rush success.
That's exactly right. Now, why don't you like chopped?
I like to be able. Well, two things. It goes back to I like the texture of like a sliced piece of brisket, because it's a lot more substance to me. I mean, you're chewing on a big chunk of meat as opposed to like little shreds. And also it allows you to control the meat to sauce ratio.
The meat to sauce ratio.
Because usually if you get chopped brisket, they're slathered on the sauce, so it's almost like a pulled pork where it's loaded with sauce, versus if I want to taste more of the smoky flavor of the meat, I can, get sauce on the side of a sliced brisket and just, drizzle it on there, dunk it in there, whatever. So it allows me to control the sauce better. And to me, I can taste more of the meat, the smokiness of the meat, if I go sliced versus chopped.
So as somebody that has served brisket to the masses, now I've done it in an outdoor setting, fairs, things like that. I always went with chopped brisket, and that was only because I needed to hold the meat longer. And if I did, when you're cooking 20 briskets at a time, or 10 or whatever, it's harder to keep an eye on them. So if you do have one that does go north on you or south, either way you want to call it, by chopping it gives you some leeway on that if one does pot roast on you. When I did,
you can soak it into some sauce to
I don't
rejuvenate it.
No, it's not that.
Okay.
It's that when you chop it, it doesn't do the pot roast. It won't shred. You chop it real good. I served sandwiches, and so I would do a big healthy serving of the meat, and then I would put some sauce on it. I didn't get too crazy with the Cheese Whiz, but my original sauce worked well with the brisket, with the beef, and so it was. Now then, are you a coleslaw on the sandwich for brisket?
You know what? I'm trying to think. With the pulled pork, yeah. I'm trying to think if I've ever done it with brisket. I don't think I have.
Really?
I love coleslaw, so I wouldn't be against it.
You got to do it. I will give Big Lou. You remember Big Lou's barbecue down here in Camas?
Back in the day? Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, way back in the day.
That, yeah.
So Big Lou, I wasn't that impressed with his meat overall. It was good, but not Matt's. Matt's barbecue is by far the best commercial barbecue I've ever had in like a restaurant setting type situation. But what Big Lou did was he did the baked potatoes. He did these gigantic Texas baked, you call them Texas baked potatoes, but they're just huge baked potatoes.
The Costco sized baked.
Yes, they're monsters. And then it was a bunch of brisket, sour cream, chives, green onions, all that bologna, and barbecue sauce in the baked potato. Amazing way. And then I like to put coleslaw on top of that. Or if I go sandwich, I love that because it's the cool, crunchy, and it's a texture thing for me. I'm weird like that. But anyway, so I was a big fan of doing chopped. Now, when you do sliced, you're going to get a better slice off of the flat. If I'm going to be cooking if I'm going to cook a full brisket and I'm going for sliced, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down the middle of that fat cap after it finishes, save my flat point, or my flat part, excuse me, for the actual meal, and then I'm going to take that point and I'm going to put it back on the smoker and make burnt ends out of that. That's where the awesome burnt ends come from, is because there is so much fat. Now, when you're looking at a brisket, there's some tips I can give you on picking a tender one from the jump. If you pick up a brisket from the back, from what would be the flat, the squared off point of it, hold it out in front of you and look at the flop on it. And the better the flop, the more tender it's going to be. If you get one that's stiff as a board and just sticking out straight, no bueno. It's not going to go 90 degrees or anything like that. And then you're also going to have two different types of briskets. You're going to have like the 10 to 12 pound one, and then you're going to have like the 16 to 18 pound one. Always go for the smaller one, in my opinion. Yes, you get more meat on the bigger one, and you're only doing one brisket. But if your goal is to cook for a large amount of people, I'd go two smaller ones. You don't have to cook it as long. I'm still going 12 hours, but you know, those honkers, you might have to go 16. Yeah. And I don't want to do that if I don't have to. Yeah. 12 hours is perfect. So do the 10 to 12 pounders and hold it there close to the end and see what kind of flop you get on that thing. And if you look like kind of a goofball if you're in the store holding your brisket out, flop here, what's the bend on this one look like? But trust me, it does make a difference. And then you're always going to cook it with, as always, the fat cap on top. That's our goal.
Self-basting.
Exactly. You're going to rub it down. Now, what a lot of people don't know is when you take a brisket, rub it with yellow mustard. Okay? Now, you might think that mustard will penetrate the meat and flavor the meat. Absolutely not. It doesn't. But what it does is there's the acid in the mustard. And so you slather mustard all over that bad boy, and then you put your dry rub on that. It adheres to the meat really well. Some people will trim the meat. That's a personal preference. I don't trim meat. I would rather trim it post-cooking than pre-cooking. If there's some egregious chunk of fat, now again, that vein of fat though that runs that bad boy can be a solid inch or two that runs down the center of it. Do not cut that out. Please, for the love of everything, don't cut that out. If you're going to cut it out, like we were talking about splitting it for the burn ends and whatnot, take the fat out afterwards. Give it to your dog, whatever you might want to do. I don't know. There's all kinds of things that you can do with animal fat. But make candles. There you go. Make candles out of your brisket. That would be wow, we might have to do that.
That'd be awesome.
Briskets and candles. Yeah, that'd be a hell of a cooking show. Anyway, so slather that thing down. I like to do it about 2 hours. Let it sit out. If it's been in the fridge, rub it down with your mustard. Put your dry rub on it. And you don't have to be crazy with the dry rub. Salt and pepper is what brisket was made for. I have one that is just my normal rub. But if you go salt and pepper, you're going to be money. And that's what all of the Franklin's barbecue down in Austin, that's what most of the big boys are doing. For them, it's all about their wood. They're going post oak down in the Texas area. I'm a huge fan of cherry. And I know we've got our Traeger folks and our electric smokers and all those guys and gals. I love cherry on beef. I think it's a nice light smoke. It's not super heavy like a hickory or a mesquite. These guys down in Texas, some of them will just go full mesquite for 16 hours.
Heavy duty.
Oh my gosh. It feels like somebody just clubbed the hell out of you with a stick of wood. It's when you feel like you got punched in the mouth by a smoke monster, you're not doing it right. Yeah. So if you like I like mesquite. I think personally that grilled chicken over mesquite is the best way to do it. Best smell, best flavor, the whole works. But when it comes to a brisket, it's just too pungent. It's too overpowering. So go with something lighter. Apple, apple is more suited for pork and white meats, that kind of stuff. So yeah, you could go oak again. I mean, you can find oak up here. It's not going to be post oak, but oak is great as well. Oak is kind of like your MacGyver of smoking woods. It will go for with anything. Yeah. You can put chickens, briskets, pork butts, and ribs all on the same smoker with oak, and you're going to have a phenomenal smoke out. I mean, it's going to be great. So then you're gonna smoke it for, the big thing is that you want to control the heat on it. You don't want to go over 190 if you don't have to. Once you get into that 200 range, you're getting really high. I like the 180 to 190 price. I almost said price range, but temperature range, and then you're gonna be keeping your heat in check, just like other meats. So I do like to rage it a little bit at the beginning if I can. Get those meat fibers opening up so that they can accept the smoke, and then shut it down. And then at the end of it, though, again, ramp it back up, let those juices get to flowing and whatnot, and then bring it back home after your 12 hours. I don't hit it with any, with the briskets, I don't put any mops on it. I don't do anything like that. It's just straight up beef and smoke. That's it. Beef and smoke. That sounds like
getting me all excited about the burnt ends again, man. It's like, oh.
Well, now you're the resident burnt ends.
The pork belly burnt ends. That's what
but burnt ends in general. Why don't you shine some light on burnt ends, what they are, why we do them, why the nectar's candy?
I don't know whose idea it was in the first place, where that all came about. Did somebody screw up or something? I don't know. But
that very well could have.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's just, you get the little extra crust on the outside from the extra long smoking time, and then obviously the extra smoky flavor, and then usually you slather it in sauce too to kind of offset the crustiness, at least in my experience. So I don't know. It's just a different flavor profile from we're talking brisket, your regular brisket versus your brisket burnt ends. It just brings another thing to the party there. I love it.
So what you'll see some folks do is, like we were saying with the rub, with the salt and pepper, that's great. When you're going to go with the burnt ends route, what you'll see folks do is they'll pull the chunk of meat off after 12 hours or whatever it might be. Then you want to let it set. After you pull your meat off, you want to let it set for like at least 15 minutes. I like to go a half an hour. Now, when you're in competition situations, what these guys will do, they will pull it out of the smoker, they will wrap it in aluminum foil, then they'll wrap that in aluminum foil in a blanket, and then they'll take that blanket or that blanket wrapped brisket, and then they put it in a dry cooler, like a Coleman cooler or whatever, and they'll let it sit there for like 2 or 3 hours before they bring it out and slice it for serving, because it lets all those juices redistribute. That's just another little tip on how the pros kind of do that. But if you're going to make the burn ends, let it set for the half an hour or whatever. Put your, once you cut it and take your flat off, wrap that in foil, keep it warm. Then take your point that you're going to make the burn ends out of. Now you're going to bring in the brown sugar. You're going to caramelize. You're going to cover that bad boy in as much brown sugar as you can get to stick on it. And then you're going to put it back in the smoker for probably another 4 hours. That's what is really going to get that. Now, what I really like to do is I take my burn ends, I'll do the same thing with pork, and I put it in my baked beans. That sets baked beans off.
Oh, yeah.
You get the burnt ends in the baked beans, so you've got that caramelized, almost like a candy.
Yep.
It's so good, but it's got so much fat that it's really tender still, just like with the burn ends, the pork belly burn ends.
And another thing on the whole caramelizing and meat candy topic is lacquered bacon. Have you done that before?
I have not. I have never made bacon.
Incredible.
Really?
And you don't have to do. I mean, you can just get regular old store-bought bacon.
Oh, just like a already sliced up.
Yeah. You get regular bacon, and then on a cookie sheet. With the little wire rack on it to hold it up off the bottom, so it's not sitting in its own juices. But before you put it on the little rack, do a heavy coat of brown sugar and red pepper flake.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm trying to think of the ratio. It's almost close to a 50-50 because you want obviously a lot of the brown sugar to get all caramelized and kind of burnt on there. So you get a lot of sweetness, but then you come behind it with that red pepper flake mixed in. You get the heat coming behind it. So it's really good.
And it's salty enough because it's already been cured.
Exactly right. You got the salt from the bacon itself going. So it's a great thing. And it's really quick to make. I mean, you just, in a little bowl, you just dump a bunch of brown sugar and red pepper flake and mix it around. Then you just sprinkle it on there and you know.
Like a 2-to-1 ratio type thing? Maybe 3-to-1?
I think maybe 2-to-1 because there was quite a bit of red pepper flake. I've made it a couple of times. It's been a while, but it's really good.
How long do you cook it?
I think it's been so long. It's a fairly high heat because you want that brown sugar to caramelize. You want that to get kind of like a creme brulee, kind of crackly finish on there.
Yes.
But what you do is you just do the single side for however, I think it's like 400 degrees for however long, and then you pull it out and let it cool just enough so you can handle it, and then you carefully flip all the pieces over and hit it with another layer on the bare side. You hit it with another layer of the brown sugar, red pepper,
all over again.
and throw it back in there again. That way you've got the thick coating of the brown sugar and red pepper flake on both sides.
Very nice. So now we both want to go eat a bunch of meat.
Yep, exactly.
I got my fill of seafood last year. Are you a seafood guy much? I know. I mean, I know the answer to that, but because we talked
crab
about
and lobster, and shrimp. I would put them up there too. But yeah, crab and lobster would be tops for me.
We got crab. We got some Dungeness. Now I'm not a big fan of Dungeness itself because it's such a pain in the ass for me to crack. But we went down and they had at Sportsman's Cannery in Long Beach, which is our kind of go-to for seafood down there. Oh, jeez Louise, sorry about that. And they had, oh boy, I shut down the computer here. They had Dungeness that had already been cracked, but it was just the crab meat, lump crab meat. So we got that and their smoked salmon. They have a garlic smoked salmon, regular smoked salmon, and smoked tuna. Ooh, I love me some smoked salmon as well. We're going to be covering smoked salmon here pretty soon for our barbecue segment.
Yeah.
The crab, Dungeness is the best crab. King crab is the easiest for me to eat because usually it comes pre-cut and you can just, they're so big.
Huge, yeah, exactly.
If you go to Costco right now, they're actually, I saw it, they have they're selling it by the case. It was $225.
Yeah.
It was like $11.
Big cardboard box of them,
That would be the get down right there.
And Costco has huge scallops too. Have you seen the size of their big diver scallops? Yeah. Monster guys.
In fact, I purchased them. And they are absolutely phenomenal. I've got to, I might have to go get that because surf and turf is one of my very favorites. Yeah. But since we're talking about all this food, you and I have been talking about something behind the scenes, and that's a weight bet, a weight loss bet. I think it's time that we bring it up, and we actually we haven't had a bet in a while.
Yeah,
I think we need to put something on the line here.
It's good motivation because I've actually plateaued over the last week and a half. I'm kind of hit a wall. So
I went up after our trip to Long Beach. Between that and at the bakery, they had. I mean, I can't do. No, it wasn't the bakery. The bakery was that I can't really hang out there because it's got all the gluten and stuff. Right. But the candy shop across the street from the bakery in Long Beach, they had these. They took Rice Krispie treats and then they put the mini M&Ms in it and then they dipped that in chocolate. I may have eaten more than one of those. I may have eaten more than 3 of them while we were not in one sitting. But
did you supplement that with scoopers too?
The Kim and Derek did. I didn't. I had a couple of bites of Kim's, but I didn't have any ice cream there. So Derek actually for Kim's birthday sat in line for an hour to get ice cream for her because he really wanted ice cream as well. But that's how busy they were. You've been in Scoopers obviously, so you know where you order.
Yep.
It was to the door, the front door. The line was.
Wow.
And they had approximately 2 people working. No joke. I mean, he was in there for an hour waiting for ice cream. Wow. So, but no, I did not supplement those. I tried to, keep it under wraps to some degree.
Yeah.
I was really focused on seafood and those the chocolate chip Rice Krispie, because that we make the Rice Krispie treats and then we'll get the Dove chocolates and we double boil them and then melt that over the top and put it in the fridge. There's not a lot that's better than a Rice Krispie treat covered in Dove chocolate.
Yeah.
Very big highlight. And easy to do. And actually, if you're going to have like a treat type thing, it's not nearly as high in calories as even like a Snickers bar or a cake or a pie or something like that.
Yeah.
So highly recommend that if you're going to make a Rice Krispie treats. Now, I've also had them made with Fruity Pebbles. That's too much.
Yeah, I did that once. We did homemade Rice Krispie treats using Fruity Pebbles. It was okay, but yeah, it's a little over the top.
Well, if you cut it, like if you go 2 Rice Krispies to
Yeah.
1, like 2 cups of Rice Krispies to 1 cup of Fruity Pebbles, I can get behind that. That's pretty good. But I still want the chocolate on there, and the chocolate and the Fruity Pebbles didn't work as well. Maybe Cocoa Pebbles.
I say you could do Cocoa Pebbles with the chocolate.
That might be good. Go Cocoa Pebbles, do the 2-to-1 Rice Krispies to Cocoa Pebbles, and then do chocolate so you're not overwhelming yourself.
Yeah.
You got the butter and the marshmallows to cut the chocolate. Man, have to try that one.
Yeah.
Kim makes these cornflake cookies. They're cornflakes, Caro syrup, and peanut butter.
Ooh.
All mixed together, and I told her she needs to dip that in chocolate. I pretty much think that anything dipped in chocolate makes it better, particularly Dove chocolate. Huge fan of Dove, but there is no treat in our house that goes faster than those. I don't get any. She made them last week. They were gone in like 2 hours.
Wow.
The boys just kill it, and then Derek ended up hiding the bag. Kim was like, "Where'd you put it?" And I'm not telling you. Stinker, but yeah, no. So anyway, back to after we always revert back to food somehow. But on this weight loss bet, what are we thinking? Now this is what I am proposing is that we talk about it here, and we can talk about the parameters, how much we lose, and stuff like that. But like always with our awesome audience, I think that they should have some participation in what the loser is subjected to. Because we don't like to do money. We're not, proponents of gambling with real money. If you're listening on the podcast, I'm winking my eye because there's something in it. But I think it's something that should be relatively significant. Like, I would think about shaving my head if I lost.
Yeah.
And you would have to do something. Again, you know how much I love my hair. You would have to do something as equally as crazy. Like we had talked about, shaving an eyebrow off or something, which I think would be phenomenal. Not 2, just 1. But, so next week, this is what I'm proposing. We can set up the parameters today, talk about weight and stuff like that. But next week, we'll give the listeners and the viewers a chance to chime in on what the payoff should be. What the loser has to do. You toss some ideas around, I'll toss some ideas around. Like I said, I'm willing to put up my hair. Not my facial hair, but I'm willing to, and I'm talking big. I'm not talking like a 1. I'm talking like I will bick it.
How about we can do it even better and incorporate...
We're not doing what my dad said earlier, though.
Incorporating food into it.
Okay.
Is that the loser needs to supply like just a boatload of seafood, and we do like, some sort of a seafood feast here.
Well, no, I'm fine with that, but I think there needs to be something of pain involved.
Yeah.
I'm not shoving a jalapeno up my ass like my dad suggested. I don't think that is something that you and I need to be involved with.
So,
there's no felching of jalapenos or habaneros.
Sauce, like, I'm trying to
Yeah, well, just think about it. We have to. So let's get down to the parameters, though. Let's talk. He's got.
Something just popped in my head.
Okay.
We'd have to figure out what kind of food item it goes on. Be it like maybe like a little small omelet or whatever. But the new Salegi sauce, they're going into production this week with their ghost pepper sauce.
Really?
They're gonna bottle it and sell it.
You have to snort it?
So no, but I'm saying like some sort of a food item, like a small omelet or like a taco, and just load the ghost pepper sauce in there and eat that.
Yeah, we'll put that on the docket.
Okay.
I don't know if I would want to do that.
We could do something like, we'd have to figure out the measurement. So like 2 teaspoons per taco. We could go to like Don Pedro's.
No, we're going to El Buen Gusto. I got to have El Buen Gusto earlier today. I had to go out to Vancouver to talk to a client. I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to be in Central Vancouver after 11 a.m. before 2 p.m. and not go there and get tacos.
Yeah.
Because the last time I was in the area, I went there at 11:10. They weren't open yet, even though they opened at 11. I was literally doing the Target thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, open, and they didn't open. I was like banging on the door, I don't know what the deal was, but
so we could do like
chicken tacos or
we could do like 3 soft tacos.
Okay.
And like let's figure out the measurement. Like I said, maybe like a tablespoon of ghost pepper sauce on each taco.
Yeah, I think that it should just be straight up. There's because vessels cut down on the intensity.
Right,
I think it should just.
Well, we could ratchet it up and say like 2 tablespoons of sauce on each taco.
Table?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Slather it in there.
Okay, we'll think about it. I like the pain. I like the hair. We'll talk about all that. Let's talk numbers though.
Okay.
What is a goal for you? I think that what is today? Today's April 11th, so we've got June. Let's make it a short. We can do 2 of them. We could do a shorter one like June 1st, and then a longer one like say September 1st or something like that. Or just let's just focus on a shorter term one. That's almost 2 months. We gotta push it a little bit. We've got to make sure that we're not making it too easy, but we don't want it to be too hard. We don't want to be unhealthy about it. So, I'm willing to put up 15 pounds by June 1st. I can cut.
But then, because we're obviously different starting weights, so do we want to do percentages though?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do, 10%, because I was at 2, I don't know what I weigh with, I thought all my stuff, but I was at 208, I think, this morning. So that would put me, if I said 193, that's, what's 15 pounds of 200 out of 208 pounds? That's 7.5, about 7%, somewhere around there. Am I doing my math right?
Yeah.
Give or take.
We'll have to, I'm trying to think, you'll have to crunch the numbers and figure out what the most equitable.
Because 10% would be, that would be 20 pounds.
Right.
So let's say 7%. You go weigh yourself in the morning. We'll weigh ourselves tomorrow morning, and then we'll come back with you and I can work out the parameters on that. But I think that June 1st is, I believe, like a Wednesday, so we can check your calendar, because I think that's like a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Saturday.
Oh, June 1st is a Saturday?
June 1st is Saturday.
Okay, then because I'm going to be gone that weekend. Let's do the Thursday before. So that'd be the May 30th. May 30th?
Yeah.
So May 30th, we'll do the weigh-in live on the air. Well, we might have, because I think that we got to weigh ourselves in the morning. And we're going to have, it's kind of the honor system here, but.
Are we stripping down to our Speedos?
No, because I do it at the gym. We got a real scale at the gym. So I'll have Brandon shoot a photograph of it. There'll be no, goofy stuff. We're going to have to hold ourselves accountable to that. So,
right.
So yeah, May 30th is going to be the date. It'll be something relatively painful, but in terms of what we have to pay off. But I love the idea of all of the seafood afterwards.
Oh, man.
So yeah, let's work on that. Let's think about that. And viewers, listeners, all of you guys, we encourage you, go ahead and send us your suggestions. Go ahead and comment on either the website or comment on the post that'll be up on Facebook for this. Also, I got just to, as we look at wrapping things up here, the end of the show, got hit up by Jessica Dudley with Dinner in White on the Columbia. I'm going to have, she sent me a press release. This isn't exactly the best medium, this show. The people that we want to reach with that message aren't probably watching this show. So Jessica, just to let you know, we've got the press release. We're gonna give the details on that. They're doing some amazing things. They've got their headliner and stuff like that for the upcoming dinner this year. So we'd love to support those guys. And Hojo is a big factor in all of that stuff. So we'll be announcing that on Monday's show. We'll be doing our live show, the KCP Hot Sheet half hour or whatever we want to call that at 8:30 on Monday evening.
Yep.
Other than that, we've got all the normal stuff. KCP or KinetiChaos.com, all the other good stuff. Check out the website for the articles. Anything interesting like that. We'll have some other stuff coming up there. So, you got anything else?
I got nothing.
You got nothing? We love brisket.
Oh, man.
We love brisket.
And seafood.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we have to have a weight loss bet.
Yep.
Right?
That's right.
Well, with that being said, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Sounds like we're actually going to get a little break in the rain tomorrow.
Tomorrow, at least one day.
Have you been looking at some of this flooding videos?
Yeah. Down in Beaver Country there in Corvallis.
Did you see the guy drive this jet boat across Highway 34? That was awesome. That looked like one of those 90-mile-an-hour two-seat jet boat things.
Is Gill Coliseum taking on water there on campus?
Was it really?
No, I don't know. Is it?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I saw that kind of the outlying areas of campus were pretty well submerged. So
well, there's the creek runs right by the stadium and whatnot, but that's it's quite a ways away from Gill and Reeser, so it's not as far from Reeser as it is from Gill.
True.
So anyway, that's but yeah, the John Day over in Central Oregon is just, it's over the highway in places, so there's all kinds of flooding and whatnot. So our thoughts are with everyone there. Hopefully everyone gets through that. Flooding's never fun, but that's what happens when it rains and after we have all that snow. So that being said, we will see you on Monday.
All right.
Okay, we go. Facebook, thanks for watching. Sorry the audio wasn't as high a quality, but I will actually get my microphones out of the truck. Thank you for watching.
See you guys on Monday.
Oh,
and have a good weekend.
On our YouTube channel. That's what I forgot to say.